Everyone, I'm Mike Ball. I'm back for kind of a combo, but back for an onboarding breakdown of products I usually go through as a brand new user, kind of a blind run to capture whatever I noticed through basic heuristics of new user onboarding. I'm going to do kind of a different one today as a product that I've been falling in love with slowly and that does things a little differently. So if you haven't used Perplexity AI yet, it's essentially similar to an LLM, or it is an LLM, but it's more structured around a question and answer format, but it does some really cool things too. So if you notice, I'm on just the core URL. I'm not logged in. I'm in an incognito window. So they don't even mess with onboarding at all. They just take you right into the product. So what I notice here is they already give you a keyboard shortcut up here on the left with Command K if I want to start a new thread. I haven't done that yet, so it's not relevant. There's a discover, which probably isn't relevant yet either. I don't know. It will take me somewhere, I guess. And then I have my library, had I already started doing anything. And I'm guessing if I try to go to that, it'll tell me, yeah, I need an account. So it's going to ask me to sign in or create an account. And I can do that with whatever I want, but I actually don't have to. So for those of you who don't know, I live in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota on an acreage. We have 56 acres and we're slowly turning into, I guess, hobby farmers. We recently got some pigs, and they're called coonies, which is they're from the New Zealand kind of Pacific Island area. They think were brought there by traders, so they're not sure where they started, but they're miniature. They get to be about 200 to 300 pounds, and they're fuzzy, furry kinds. So let's see what it can tell me about cooney pigs. Now, what it does better than any other LLM that I've worked with is it kind of curates the entire experience. So it's bringing you images just like a search engine would, or what Google is doing. What it does even better than that is it gives you sources for where it found its information. So it's giving you like, you can view all of them, and it gives you a zoomed in view. And so it'll, you got the history from different sources. It'll tell you whether or not, it won't tell you whether or not they're trustworthy, but you can kind of zoom in and see from this, like, oh, okay, got its content. I don't know what some of these are, but if it's a zoo or if it's a Cooney Society or whatever, I think they're generally trustworthy. It's giving me almost like a rich snippet here, which I haven't seen it do before, but then it gives you a breakdown of some of the information in a really digestible way. Now, what's really cool about this is you can rewrite it if you don't like it, but it's shareable. So you can share a link directly to this response if you want. You can also copy it. So if I want to copy this and use it for a prompt on something that I'm writing or something I'm putting together, or just drop it in a doc, I can do that too. I can go back and edit the query or the question that I asked it, and then I don't even know what's under here. View sources or report is no good. So if I don't like it, that's fine too. If I really wanted to, so if I was writing a report or whatever, I can search for videos that are relevant to it. And if I'm on the pro plan, I can generate images. So this is all without having to even sign up to it. This is also a product that's technically B2C. So they're going to consumer. It's not really positioned for a B2B use case right now. Similar to, I guess, GPT is B2C first and then has the API side of it for that. But they just do things a little bit differently. So they don't even need to capture it. They're just letting you run it and assuming that as you want to save these things, you'll eventually create an account. So watch this now. So let's ask if they're good pets. So now what it's doing, what you'll notice is it's creating what they call a thread. So I have my first question, my answers. I have my follow-up question is what they'll call it. And you'll see the placeholder text in here is follow-up. And then after each one, they want to keep you going. So you have, what are the main challenges? And so I don't even have to type these things out or think of the questions myself. It's just using what it knows about this kind of like conversation or this kind of information to suggest what else I might want to know about it. So we can see how much space did they need to thrive per acre of land. So I have 2 pigs. We're rotating them in a 2-acre prairie in front of my office, actually, so that they can eat the grass and weeds and keep those under control, and then have their own little space where they keep cleaner if they do that. So you can see I have these different questions and answers now, and I could go into, if I wanted to, how to care for them, and then even use this content to generate like a chore list for my kids or something if I wanted to. The nice thing is when you're signed in, it will actually save it to your thread, like your library history. And when you're signed in, you can add it to a collection. It's not giving me that CTA right now to add it to a collection. So it's basically, oh, here it is. It's kind of hidden. It's going to make me create an account though. So let's go ahead and create an account. I'll just use Google. I'll probably have to get 1Password out to find it. The bad thing about using a password manager is I don't remember any of my passwords. The good thing is if I don't remember them, that means they're much less likely to be found out by others, I guess. So that's it. Now I have an account. Now I have my own library. I can discover other things. I can also add this to a collection. Let's call it Kuni Pigs. You can add details if you want to that affect every thread in the collection. So this is like a system prompt for the AI before you start the conversation. So if I want to start a new query thread or a different thread or whatever about how to care for them, I could say you're an experienced farmer and raising different types of pigs or whatever. I don't know that that's like a wildly used one or not, but I can even, let's see if I can find a pig emoji. There we go. Create. So now I've got that in there. And I have noticed some lag. Like, I don't know if it's the internet today or if it's specifically in Perplexity, but we'll call that a potential bug, if not just my computer. So what I've been doing from a practical standpoint, not looking at big stuff for the most part, even though I do use this when my kids ask me questions, I use this as my pre-research and prompt content for generating other content. So I will go through this. I will ask the questions that I want to ask that are kind of tied to my outline. I'll get a bunch of different sources. I'll filter down the sources to the ones I really like, and then I'll package my prompt for something that I want to write or something that I want to put together. And it just does a much, much better job than GPT does. And even with when I put custom GPTs together and I've given them the ability to browse the internet, it's really bad about finding good content that's not generic and kind of like overused, and also bad at integrating it into what it puts together. So it's nice to have like some structured Q&A format to give it to put some content together. It saves a lot of time just on prompting. So yeah, not really user onboarding breakdown per se, because it's just creating an account. They already give you access to the product before that, and you just kind of intuitively figure out what to do. It's ask a question, get an answer. I think there'll be a lot more products like this with AI that are AI native, where the experience is just there and you're talking or you're putting in a question or you're doing something simple and it's handling the rest for you. That'll change the kind of entire new user experience. And I think shift the challenge of from activating them initially to kind of like identifying them or getting them to create an account, like commit to a relationship with you from a product standpoint. And then also like how to keep them engaged. So it shifts it back towards not the sign up piece of activation, but the actual repeat usage of the product. So that part / life cycle, I think, is going to have a bigger emphasis as more products like this launch.